Might be a Rexall right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Nautilus sampled a couple of those Solus in Olympic Coast. What was it? 2017? And we have someone at the who's in Florida at, trying to remember the university, Florida Southeastern University, who's a sea cucumber expert and maintains their collection at the museum there, who's taking a look at them to confirm the ID and archive them.
Yeah, can we get a quick zoom in of that sponge there?
Sure. Steve, you can zoom. Ready?
Haven't seen any cream puffs in the galley lately.
There's actually a very interesting thing on the table right now. It's like breakfast biscuits, but covered in chocolate.
Oh, I saw that. Jake, you had one of those, didn't you?
Oh,
yeah, I did.
Was it good?
It was actually, it wasn't bad.
It's like a vacuum for table food.
Sometimes I see things on the table and I have no idea what they are and I just go for it.
Yeah.
What is this?
I'm noting that.
I had way too much food for breakfast, lunch.
Sorry, Taylor Ann's trying to ask science questions.
Oh. What is this sponge? We've collected one of these, I think, right?
Cream puff.
Yeah, I think this is one of the unknown puffball sponges that we have collected previously.
I remember seeing this in the lab.
Look how rectangular that block of rock is to the bottom right of it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Very linear.
Yes, Abby says unidentified globular demo sponge.
Thank you, Abby.
Stop him up, Ernie, please.
Full zoom.
Bridge now.
That's a great shot of it.
I always love with how some of these demo sponges, when you get them to the surface, they're a totally different texture than they are on the seafloor.
Yeah, it was very, very weird. I think when we grabbed it, we had to squish it quite a bit, so it wasn't as gelatinous as it looked when we were pushing it around down here.
Some rocks are moving underneath me, I think.
I'm gonna come wide.
Yeah, thanks.
It's like a bucking bronco all of a sudden.
Yeah. Tethered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hake.
It's trying to show us something.
Another sparkly sponge.
Mm-hmm. Leading us to the sparkly sponge.
Yeah.
You stopped the ship, Ernie?
I did pause, yep.
Okay.
A lot easier to do in 500 meters of water.
As opposed to 3,800 if we were over in this carbon.
That's just like, all right, we'll just guess a general direction and hopefully that's where we want to go. If we want to redirect, that'll be a half an hour.
Which is a good reason to move real slow along walls.
Right, yeah. Otherwise you miss them, you get to the top of them.
We always move real slow.
Staurocalyptus down on the bottom looks toppled over. A couple more tall barrel sponges.
Okay.
Bridge now. $50 meters, 300. Thank you. Cool.
Nice crab.
Someone's playing King of the Mountain. Good shot though. Hang it on. Looks like it's kind of showing off a little bit. You know, one arm, just hanging.
Yeah, it was like up in the crow's nest on lookout.
Yeah.
Aurora coming to check us out, following us up into the water column.
Yeah.
Getting out towards the end of your tether there.
Roger.
There's a little Aurora rockfish tucked right under that barrel sponge,
Oh yeah, a tiny one.
basically laying on its side.
Stop and have a look while we catch up. If you want. What were you saying about the dive, Meredith?
Oh, just below that barrel sponge, there was a little Aurora rockfish.
Oh, you were saying something about 4 hours in the dive?
We're gonna end early.
Oh, that wasn't me.
Oh,
That was Lizzie on the chat. Yeah, she was kind of giving us some intel, I guess. They're going to swap 4 hours of time for
earlier.
this dive.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me go back to that, Dan.
It's gone off my chat screen now, so I lost the context.
They said, we're taking Nicole's advice and cutting this dive short by 1 watch. And then I got to scroll back up. Hold on. Every time someone types into the chat, it goes back down.
Basically going to skip a waypoint that was taking us further west and just instead go straight up north.
Yep. Yeah, essentially when we're just downslope, kind of directly downslope of Z1, we can head up towards that.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
And I think that they're going to add 1 extra watch to the next dive instead of this one.
Correct.
Yeah, 30-hour dive seems unusual to fill all your sample boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was saying earlier. You got to time your Niskins properly so you don't burn through them all in the first 4 hours.
Yeah.
Longest dives we've done here have been about 70 or 75 hours, and one was for Ocean Networks Canada where we just had a bunch of tasks to do, and then the other was a super deep dive. Didn't feel like going up and down.
How long did you say it was?
The ONC one I think still is the longest, and it was like 75 hours.
75. Oh,
Something like that. As long as
Working on the
everything's
cable
working.
array.
Yeah, yeah. Just had a lot to do down there.
A little poacher there, just about to go off the right-hand side of the screen.
So for that dive, a lot of maintenance tasks on the cabled observatory? Is that what's going on?
Never-ending maintenance tasks.
Yeah.
Been down
And
there
there's,
all year.
Yeah. There's always new stuff to deploy and old stuff to recover.
Can we look at that bright yellow spotty sponge that's up in the upper right-hand corner?
Yep.
Yeah.
Can zoom, Steve?
The question of, is it something different or is it just tiny little starts of the star calyptus?
We got something like this in the lab the other day, and they felt kind of like stiff like grapes. So I don't know if they're aphids. I don't know. I can't really tell from. But they were attached on a rock like this, and kind of little orbs. But this looks a little bit different.
You want to pause them there for a minute?
Yeah, we're just ending this move, so it's auto-paused.
Roger, auto pause.
Taylor Ann, do you remember, was Abby on when this was collected? She's on now, maybe she knows.
All the days blend together.
Of course.
It wasn't too long ago though.
It does
Maybe
look different.
2 or 3 collection dives.
I think it was from South Anacapa.
Yeah.
Which is not too far from where we are.
Yeah. Because it was right after we did the long photo mosaic, I think. Daniel says the yellow mass looks more like Synacidian to me, so it might be tunicates.
Strange that they've chosen the same color.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't really look like a sponge, does it?
Yeah, it's interesting that this color is quite popular down here in the deep sea, the neon yellow.
Yeah. It's interesting with the star calyptus is when you sample them and get them into alcohol, that yellow starts to seep into the alcohol. Yeah, Daniel said the strings inside could be the style and common opening in the center. And they would have a grape-like texture.
Makes sense.
Are we good there? No sample or anything? Or?
Yeah, we're good.
Sweet.
Yeah, the same questions while scuba diving. Is it a sponge or is it a tunic? Crusting sponge or a tunicate?
Yeah. Abby says she keeps getting tricked into thinking those are polymastia, which is a sponge.
Bridge
Yeah,
now.
all the examples I've seen of
50 meters, 310. Thank you. That'll be our last move in this direction, then we'll head north.
310, roger.
Yeah, the polymastia the pictures that I've seen of polymastia at least are kind of more cone-like
Yeah,
instead of bulbous like that.
they can be that bright yellow color though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I just saw my first little branch swiftia twig.
20 meters is a good distance, Jake. Stick a little closer.
20 meters. Not as important to be out ahead with this depth.
No. More important to look for
Cool stuff.
Cool stuff.
entanglement opportunities and avoid them. So if they're way out there, I can't see them.
That grenadier is not happy.
No one home in that one, huh?
Nobody home. Plenty of condos in the neighborhood, though.
Lots of real estate choices if you're a crab.
Mm-hmm.
Just one of those sparkly ones.
And
Puffball.
puffball again.
Puffball,
Cream puff.
which Abby ID'd in the chat as unidentified globular demo sponge.
It's a UGS.
The Nautilus Galley cream puff.
Yeah, the cream puff sponge. Have the squirrel tail, sea pen, the shaggy dog sponge. This can be the cream puff sponge.
A cat shark.
Mm-hmm.
And more of those polychaete worm.
Oh, there's a red sea cucumber down there.
Oh yeah. Looks like maybe another Rexol. Thorny heads.
A long spine thorny head. Giving us the view of its spine so we can tell the difference.
So for those of you who have recently joined us, we're on the Footprint Reef, actually southwestern flank of the Footprint Reef, off Southern California in the Channel Islands National Marine Sanctuary, and this is actually in a federal marine reserve. And we were kind of working our way up the slope towards the top of the feature. This is one of the deep water rocky banks in Southern California that supports a diverse assemblage of rock fishes and invertebrates, deep sea corals and sponges. And it's been a marine reserve since, I believe, the federal one was 2007. It's declared or designated as essential fish habitat in 2006, and then designated as a marine reserve in 2007. And a state portion of this, and a little bit upslope and closer to the islands, was designated in 2003, I believe.
So was this designated right after that first set of surveys with Deep Sea Coral Program, West Coast Initiative, all the way back in like the first initiative, or just slightly before that?
Kind of goes back before that. I think in the late 90s, there was a community group that really pushed for getting the footprint protected in a marine protected area. And I believe the state and the sanctuary were working together to get that designated, but they went through a large stakeholder process. And the result of that, there were some concerns from certain stakeholder groups about the level of protection for some of the. It was a network of marine protected areas out here, and long story short, the state designated several marine protected areas within the Channel Islands National Marine Sanctuary in 2003, and then it took a few more years for the sanctuary to work with those stakeholder groups, and then the Pacific Fishery Management Council to get the federal portion of this marine reserve designated. I think I have that history right. Maybe Lizzie will chime in if I have that inaccurate. Yeah, then the state of California, through their Marine Life Protection Act, has gone through another round of declaring marine protected areas within state territorial waters, and that's increased the amount of protection. Can't remember what proportion of of state waters is protected, but it's somewhere close to 20% in that order. I have to look it up. But these go all the way up, to the Oregon border and all the way down to the border with Mexico. And the state waters.
Sorry, I was just gonna say we're stopped here. I think maybe we want to make our northward move, perhaps.
Yeah, that looks good, because it looks like we're about to be back out in the flat.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll be going 355.
355.
And it's going to be upslope, but probably a gentle-ish slope for a while. Bridge nav. $200 meters, 355, speed 0.3. Sorry, Kurt.
No, that's right.
Out of curiosity, how far has it been since the last transect?
Sure. 250 or so meters, 275.
Okay, once we get moving, we could start another transect as we move up the slope.
Sounds good. Yeah, that's good. I'm not going to come any more westward, so if you can inch over.
I always feel like when you look at those flat areas, if you start a transect, you up the chances of seeing something cool because you can't stop to look at it.
That's when a whale comes in.
Yeah.
Stay on transect.
Yeah. We must not be diverted.
Oh wow, that almost looks like blackgill.
The one tucked in under the rock there on the left?
Oh, it was
Or the
actually
one
swimming
swimming
on
along-
the bottom of the screen, yeah. Royal rockfish tucked in there on the right side. Squat lobsters under the rocks. We have another Storoclyptus yellow sponge and that white star, which I think is Henrycia, but I'll have to double check. Lots of fragile, well, we've been seeing fragile urchins throughout this watch, and apologies to the urchin lovers because I don't think we've been commenting on it much, but we have gotten a nice occasional zoom of some, so
We got
appreciate
that
that.
one that was walking.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like a number of them grow like that. I wonder if it's just because they
Yeah,
turn over.
I
or
think
if
just
they
the rocks just tumble.
turn over time. And then
Make it tumble, yeah. That'd be my guess. Although, you would think that if it started to roll, it would just keep going.
Yeah, I haven't seen any yet that are acting like a kickstand.
Yeah.
When they're on walls, they can end up forming this big U.
Nice white sponge. I think this is the one that was collected last watch.
I think so, yeah. Looks like it.
Let's
It
get
looks like we
straight
got a
out
little
ahead
clavularia.
there, just in case
Yeah.
for the gear.
That's what I was wondering.
Is that an octopus just above the lasers?
Looks like it.
Yeah.
Back to the
looks
left?
like it. Do quick zoom on it.
Are we on transect?
No, we're
yet.
not yet on
Okay.
transect.
Zoom quick, Steve. I'm gonna get out ahead.
Nice.
Nice
Little
shot.
octopus.
Curling up.
That urchin made the climb.
Yeah.
Sitting right on the peak.
Cat shark making an appearance. Like a Rexel on the right. Oh, maybe that's a Dover too. I kind of passed it too fast.
More hagfish. Curled up.
Start to look at those Rex soles or Dover soles, and then like kind of trying to get an idea of how long that pectoral fin is. Is it long enough to be a Rex? Two nice sponges.
Abby's saying that she's seeing at least 4 types of the sponges, that the 2 different kind of hairy barrels may be 2 different things. So this one, that one on the right there that's going off the screen is, she thinks is different than the Rhabdocalyptus-like one.
Nice.
I just saw 2 little Swiftia pacifica fans too on the rocks. We are seeing a little more coral now.
All right.
Yep, looks good. All right, whenever you want to
Getting
get
more
set up, we can Call it a transect. U55.
355.
A lot more silt here. Couple eel pouts
Mm-hmm.
curled
Is
up.
that a big finial
This
pout?
one's
All right, let's
All
call
right.
that the start, Tayloring.
Alrighty, start of transect. That's transect number 8.
Number 8.
Boat's moving, right?
Boat is moving.
number 8, thanks.
Just above that squat lobster, it looks like there's the start of a miniature Rhabdocalyptus there.
Oh yeah.
So over this flat terrain, Thomas said we can go a little faster if you guys feel comfortable with that.
You guys want to bump it to 0.5?
Sure.
Bridge nav. Increase speed to 0.5. Thank you.
Since it's so nice and open.
Yeah.
The small Rexo to the left, Pacific Hate to the right, the narrow sponge, Anthem Thailand sea pen off to the right, Shaggy Dog sponge or whatever we're calling that, and right there in the center.
The other shaggy sponge.
Yeah. I guess Shaggy Dog was the Olympic Coast moniker that we came up with, huh?
Yes.
Totally different latitude down here. Gotta have a different name.
It's too warm for Shaggy Dogs down here.
Yeah.
We got
Is that a sharp nose? Sharp chin?
sharp
Split
chin,
nose?
split nose, maybe.
Brain like running through the list of which one could it be?
Like a sharp nose and a split chin. Is that what you're talking about?
Yep.
To be another Rexol. Lots of fragile sea urchins, squat lobsters.
I just saw a tiny, tiny little mushroom coral.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Probably a centimeter, which is noticeable because it was a white dot with little polyps that stuck out.
Soulless cucumber off to the left. It's white feeding tentacles or appendages.
Oh, there's a good sponge.
Yeah.
With a little sculpin hanging out on the side. Maybe? Yeah, I think that's a little
Something,
sculpin.
yeah, it is. Another Anthem sea pen. Rexol's off to the left, far left.
I will say the big barrel sponges out in the mud as like just these pillars is a nice touch from just mud. Nice little accent.
For sure.
Yeah, they must be getting enough of what they want, even on this flatter bit. To be so successful.
I wonder if that was that unidentified Tima sponge on to the left there. Kind of looked like it had a chunk missing.
Oh. See a little asbesta pluma there.
Oh yeah.
Little tiny white stick.
What are the white dots in the sediment? I don't have a big enough monitor.
Sometimes they're little gastropods.
Mm-hmm. Pretty tiny.
Daniel's still with us. He can probably chime in and tell us what they are.
Well, we've lost some rocks.
Yeah, on the high pack, it looked like this was going to be a big kind of flat, more muddy zone. And before we get to the Z1 is in a really steep step feature.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel says he need to zoom in on them to see what they are. So I said after the transect, maybe if we're still in the sediment, which I think we will be, we can zoom in and get a closer look at the white dots.
Sounds good. That yellow pout up to the left. Is that a yellow sponge in the middle there, or is that trash?
It's
Hard to
almost
tell.
like yellow sponge encrusting on some kind of clump of something.
Yeah. Yellow pout or a poacher right there. That's a poacher, isn't it? Right in the middle there, bottom
Yep.
screen. Dove or so off to the right. Nope. Or Rex. I can't tell. Missed it.
Eel pout? Or no, flatfish, half buried.
Yeah, half buried flatfish.
Flatfish in costume.
Well, we're almost a week out from Halloween. Got to get ready.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a nice poacher off to the left. And the right. Just rounded. Cat shark. Upper right, I think, off screen.
Yeah, I just saw the tail move. Eel pout.
There's another half buried sole. Oh,
That one's a Rex that just went straight under the lasers with this little fin in the air.
agreed, yeah. Couple flatfish off to the right. And one was half buried.
Rich nav. Add one more step, 200 meters, 355. Thank you.
Little clouds of sediment marking where there once upon a time were flatfish. That tracks or a big shell? Can, yeah. That's the third or fourth can of this watch.
Yeah, I think third.
Party Coast.
This was a popular, well, on top of this bank, it was a popular spot for fishing back in the day before it became a marine reserve. Always in the lee of the island when the weather's bad on the north side of the island.
Huh.
Oh,
Oh,
Christmas
there's a
tree
black coral. Yep.
Getting some more,
Another one.
some cobbles here.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, good eye. Some outcrops coming out here, so things are changing.
Yep. Oh, and there's a first plumerella I've seen of the whole expedition. Just went off the bottom of the screen.
What was that?
Plumerella? It's
Oh.
another primnoid coral. More black coral.
Mm-hmm.
See, magic of the transect. See all the cool stuff.
Seeing more coral.
So just to the right of the lasers.
On the flat.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
the plumerella there. Yeah.
You can always tell them from the peristenella because plumerella is always just that flat fin. And
Oh, I
they're
saw
actually a
another one.
pain when you sample them. Yeah. They're really stiff, so they're hard to kind of roll up to get into tubes and kind of hard to cut apart. They have a really, really stiff skeleton.
Coral top right.
Nice,
Is that
thanks.
a coral or a sponge? Maybe. Oh, I might have missed it. I saw a yellow sponge in the distance.
Just off to the right, urchin party off to the right.
Yep.
Found
I always like it
something.
when they get in like piles. They're like, what's under there?
Sponge down in lower right. Shaggy sponge.
A skate.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, small long nose.
This expedition, I've seen the smallest skates I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, some of those grenadiers we saw earlier were a lot smaller than I'm used to seeing. Is that a sponge that's toppled over right there on the bottom left?
Yeah, that looks like a dead sponge.
Hake off to the left. I think that's a Paralothodes crab. Bottom right.
Erica says it was a California skate.
Oh, was it? Good to know. Thanks, Erica. Aptly named.
Another hake.
What those urchins are feeding on.
Yeah.
That line may be a piece of kelp.
That's what I was wondering. I thought I saw one earlier.
All right, that's the end of
Yeah,
transect
poacher.
there.
Great.
Now that we're off transect, can we zoom in on some of these white shell-like things in the sediment?
Sure.
Bridge now.
Drop down.
Hold
My guess
position.
is hermit crab is my guess.
I think they're gastropods. That's my guess.
I don't know if we'll be lucky enough to get another pile of hermit crabs stacking themselves by size.
I know, that was fun.
That was pretty cool. Lisa thought I was joking. I think it was Lisa though.
Did you send the clip?
I did. Well, she said she got the link,
Nice.
or she looked up the link.
Caught the seaweed there.
Okay, looks like the ship's coming back a little bit to hold.
What a good pile of them. Want to zoom in, Steve? See if we can focus in them.
That looks like a little nefarious snail.
Get closer. All right.
Want to tilt up a little bit? I can zoom
Yep.
closer.
Trying to do
Those
it
tiny
slowly.
little ones.
All right. It's a very jumpy pan and tilt.
Oh, tough to say.
Yeah, some of them are still just too small. They may just be kind of fragments, but the ones further up are definitely nefarious. Scavenger snails. Daniel says these little bits are just fragments of shell.
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't look like they were moving much.
Yeah.
Nor were they upright. That one, though, possibly.
Yep, that's
Little
a
tiny bits are. They just
little
A couple
snails.
of them, yeah.
bridge now.
Back in the days when I used to keep a saltwater aquarium, we used to have a few of these in the sand. It
Let's
was always
go
fun to
15
feed the tank
meters,
and watch them
355.
come out of the tank or come out of the sand.
Yeah, I just started a saltwater tank, and that's how I knew what an Asarius was after starting that, getting my cleaner crew together in my tank.
It's an important component of any
Dennis's.
aquaria.
Definitely nefarious, says Daniel.
Tiny white ones still, they seem spherical. They seem something other than fragments.
Taylor, and have you talked to Bob Waters about his tank?
No,
You should ask him. It's pretty neat.
learned something.
Do
Have
they-
one
extensive.
clownfish. So one of the other ones died. It was sad. But the other one is okay. I think they bullied each other.
Wow,
Oh,
there we
look at the
go.
proboscis on that.
Extends.
periscope up.
Yeah,
Wow.
periscoping from the sand.
Yeah, Daniel calls it a snorkel.
Yeah, often they'll completely bury themselves and just have the end of that just above the sediment.
Mm. Oh, it's something. I definitely see that.
All right, I think we can keep moving up towards
Yep.
the steeper stuff. Get out of the mud.
I just bumped the ship 15 meters towards you, but I'll just continue. And I'll slow down to 0.3 maybe, unless you want to go 0.5 science. It's up to you. That last speed was good.
Let's go ahead and keep going 0.5 because I don't think we're gonna see much to sample or anything in this mud. So
Sounds good.
that'll get us up towards the steeper habitat a little faster
Bridge now.
since it's a ways to go up there.
$200 meters, 355. Thank you.
Two 5.5.
355.
3.55.
Same.
Another skate.
What's that on there?
Is that more trash?
Purplish.
Yeah, it's square. Yeah, what is off to the left of that trash?
It looks like a cell phone cover.
Picture, is it the clavularia or something?
Wanna
on the
zoom on it,
left
Steve?
of it?
Tunicate? What is that? Crusting something.
Some sort
Mhm.
of casing.
Oh, I think it's tunicate just growing on a flat surface on that rock, and it just is keeping all the mud off.
Yeah.
All right.
You found it?
It's too big. It's an iPad.
Say, someone on Twitter is gonna come pop in and say, "Hey, it's my lost. Insert electronic device here."
During the Amelia expedition, just as a testament to how well they scoured these slopes, the slope of Nicomororo, is Lindsay was on board and he lost his hat. It flew off. And then as they were down on the bottom, they found his hat and they
No way.
collected it.
No way.
They collected
Oh,
it,
wow.
put it in a box, and it's in the special on Nat Geo. He puts it on his head, takes it right out of the box, puts it on his head.
What depth was that?
Oh, that's great.
I don't know, it's a
Nice.
pretty steep slope off of Nicomororo. It goes deep quick, so they really, I mean, anything out there, they saw it. So.
Were any of you out on that expedition?
No, that was the one expedition I was not on last year. I was on everything except for the big transits across the big transits from the west coast to Hawaii. Those were just mapping, so I was off those, and was also spent time in Samoa and New Zealand while they were in Nicomororo.
Nice. Yeah, I think, well, I know Sam and Nicole were on that leg, weren't they?
Allison and Sam were. Nicole was not
Allison.
on that one.
Okay. You look out off to the right.
And there's a tiny, tiny little fish that's about to go off the bottom of the screen. It's either a sculpin or
Oh.
it might be a baby thorny head.
Yeah, that looks like a sculpin to me. Caught it right at the end there.
Hake.
These hake are very
Nice.
similarly sized down here.
Mm-hmm.
Could be the same year class.
I was just looking at a very fancy image of a hake in my fanciest guidebook.
Which book is that?
Oh, I have a copy of the Fishes of the Salish Sea from Ted Peach and Jay Orr.
Yeah. I haven't had a chance to grab that one yet. It came out a year or two ago?
Yeah,
Pretty recent,
last
isn't it?
year. Yeah, the giant 3-volume tome with like painted images of all the fish.
Oh,
Wow. Amazing amount of effort that goes into something like that.
Yeah, it's really more of a coffee table book than one that you'll take onto a ship.
Well, you just so happen to be hanging out at your coffee table while you're virtually on
Yes,
the ship.
it's there. I was like, wow, I can finally actually like use it during dives.
a friend of mine is
There's
a
another skate.
scientific illustrator, and seeing the kind of work that goes into those is really incredible.
I'm just amazed that paintings and drawings were used for science before photographs. So they didn't have any photographs to go off of.
Yeah.
Especially for birds. It's wild.
My wife is just taking some Henkel prints off of, the internet and printed them out in kind of larger format, and we framed them, put them on the walls. They're great.
Nice. I was at MCZ, Museum of Comparative Zoology at Harvard, where we send our biological samples, and going down through seeing all the jars of old stuff was really cool, and then flipping through the old books, like, falling apart leather-bound books of drawings and stuff. Really fun.
Yeah, it's so cool to see.
Yeah, if you wander around behind the scenes at the Smithsonian,
Oh
in
yeah, I've
addition
been
to
back
being
there.
able to go through all of their jars, they have like all of these framed copies of a lot of the original sketches that were used.
It's really cool. There's just like stacks and stacks of filing cabinets, and then like Tyrannosaurus Rex head. This one couldn't fit in a box. Just want to go through
And the
every
floor
cabinet.
squid.
Yeah.
Oh, Meredith, remember when we were there at I can't remember the name of the place where they store all the, the larger collection that they have in
Yeah, the
Maryland there.
off-site collection.
But, I get to see that coelacanth.
Oh yeah, the coelacanth, that was awesome.
Nice.
Just in a big
Well, their
vat,
fish-
big stainless steel vat.
One of their fish curators took us back to look at it. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
Zoom there, quick, Steve. Grab.
I've not seen a coelacanth.